Good afternoon, everybody. How is everybody doing on this lovely Wednesday afternoon? How are you doing, Ben? How are you doing, mate? Welcome on. You're muted, my friend. You're still muted.
You muted me, Perch.
I muted you when you came in. Sorry about that. Apologies. That was my fault. Apologies. How are you doing, mate?
You muted me, Perch. Perch is silencing everyone. Confirmed.
Silencing, yeah.
Confirmed. It's a lovely day in East London, and we're here with one of our best buds in the community. And we're just gonna chill out. It's gonna be great.
Love that, mate. Love that. Welcome aboard. You're always here. We love to see who we got in the house. Let's see. Big up Jazz Fusion. You were the first here. Cough, you were the second here. Much love to you, my friend. Big up Chris. Hope you're well. Big up Juicy over on Twitch. Hope you are good. Big up Danny Glover.
Big up his picture as well. Love Gundam Wing. So big up that guy.
Phil P. Woo! Woo! Done. Hope you're doing, mate. Yes. 88 subs, exactly. Lucky for some. Now, can we get 12 more to get 900 today? That would be absolutely amazing. Oh, let me just bring in. We've got another snuck in here. How you doing, mate? Ash Mack's here. How you doing, my friend? Everyone does the woo when Phil P's here. Who have we got? Proud to be Geordie. Hope you're well. Always here. Big up Brian. Hope you're well. Who we got? Strasbourg Steve. I know you're on your way, so he'll be coming on to join us shortly as well. Big up Steve. Big up Mike. Big up David. Who else you got? Big up Cousins, the Sheriff. You're on board.
Big up Sheriff.
Rudy 2. Hope you're well. And we got Leon Felix Cooper. Woo! Exactly. Woo! Big up everybody. Hope you're well. We've got something to talk about again today. I'm liking the fact we always seem to have stuff to talk about with Tottenham. Just recently, we've just had the news that Spurs are very interested in Tapsoba from Bayer Leverkusen. So I'd like to start with that for now and go, let's talk and go, what are we thinking? Do you like the idea of him coming into Tottenham? Ben, what are your thoughts? Because obviously we need defenders. We talked about it on Henry's stream yesterday, how badly we need defenders. What do you think?
It's a good start, isn't it? It's a sensible idea, which means Tottenham won't do it. Eric Dyer confirmed.
It doesn't make sense. It never happens.
That's, but yeah, Tapsoba looks like a good prospect for us too. I mean, Leverkusen are a very decent
defender, doesn't he?
I have both of their defenders. I'd have Hincapié and I would have Tapsoba.
I don't think Hincapié's going to happen. I think that's off it, but. Ash Magic, mate, what are your thoughts on Tapsoba? I know you've done a lot on your years, I think you've done a lot of report and a lot of great videos and stuff talking about these sort of things. So does Tapsoba fit into what we need? I like the look of him.
Yeah, I was very excited when I first saw we were linked with him, and now it's come back round. 6 foot 2.5. Sounds like my type of defender. He's got the physical attributes as well. Athletically, he's very mobile. Something different to what we've had in the past. He's fast, he's quick, he's good at 1v1s, strong on the challenges, doesn't dive in, can play the ball out the back like a modern day defender that you need, can actually dribble as well, carry the ball forward as well. So knows when to go. More importantly, he's not rash in his decision making. So if Romero does go, he knows when to stay, can work in the high line. He's played in the back four before, he's played on the left hand side, albeit I'd say the only criticism would be maybe he's a right-footed, left-sided centre-back. Maybe if I wanted to find some critique about him. And could be a little bit better aerially. However, he has scored a header. So, I mean, it's not, I'm trying to find drawbacks, and that's maybe
it's all about balance, isn't it? It's understanding on what we can see with it. And I agree, I think. But I look at it, I think if you can go and get someone like him into the Premier League, I think it's a really good signing. And I think, but this is what happens though. We never hear, when we hear reports, we say that the player's keen on Tottenham and we're starting concrete contacts. I thought that was just a builder.
Yeah.
Sorry, it had to be a stupid concrete joke there somewhere. But
the German builder. All right, cool.
The thing is, we hear all this stuff, and listen, I'm all for it. I want to see defenders in. I've said it along. I want to see at least 2. I would prefer to see 3. It's a good start, but let's be honest. I want to start seeing players in this time next week on Friday when pre-season starts. Are we going to see that? Pre-season starts this time next week. Are we going to start seeing players in before then? Because for me, I think that's such an important one.
Yeah.
I'm lost hope in getting them. We're going to get a goalkeeper in. Talking of goalkeepers, we are linked now with. Oh, I've got to say his name, haven't I? Georgie Hamashashvili. I'm going with that one. I'm committing to it. It's probably a horrendous bottling of it, but we've linked with him before. We're linked with him again. Some people saying he's better than David Raya. Some people saying they're not sure. Guys, what are your thoughts on him? Do you think he's going to be the one that we get in? I will still stand by the fact I still want to see David Raya happen.
I still want David Raya to happen.
Agreed. Well. But if that doesn't happen, would you take Georgie? I'm not doing it again. I'm not butchering it again.
You're a clever lad. You're a clever lad. With me personally, I have my only concern about David Raya is with his feet, he's good when the ball's in his hand, so he's good at launching the ball. And when the ball's like a long target, when he's trying to hit a diagonal over the top or do a long ball like how he did with their striker, I forget his name now. Tony, yeah. He's really good at hitting those type of balls into the front forward or into the wing backs. He was really good at doing that. But when it was shorter passes, I think it was against Newcastle where he made an error. If you look at his, if you look at him, he's made 2 errors this season, and it was both from balls out from the back doing short passes. So I think that's my only critique on him. But like you guys said, in terms of homegrown quota, he reaches that. In terms of Premier League experience, he reaches that. In terms of the best saves percentage as a goalkeeper, he hits that. This guy that we're linked with, not far off him, Valencia, I've looked at him and he's a little bit better with his feet. So it's not a bad alternative. I'm not mad if he was to come over Raya, but it's just that Raya's more a convenience, a marriage of convenience. We know about him. We've seen him. I've actually seen him in the league when we played against him. I was watching him a lot because I knew we were linked with him. And I was impressed. Even when he got like a little niggle, I thought he was going to come off at one point. I was like, yes, we're going to win the game. And then he stayed on. And then he just looked not even better, but he just carried on that performance. And then they ended up winning. So like he passes the eye test in that sense, David Raya, whereas Georgie, I haven't really seen too much of him live because I don't really watch the Liga like that. So that's where my knowledge is restricted. But from what I can see on some certain stats, I wouldn't be mad.
No, I think it's a fair second choice. As I said, I wouldn't be too against it either. I just think for me at the moment, though, the only bit that I will argue with is that we have to go and get these down and done. For me, it's all well and good being linked with these players. Heck, we could be linked with Lionel Messi for all we're talking about, but it doesn't mean anything. Do you know what I mean? Links for me are irrelevant unless we start making, I'm going to say it, concrete moves to actually start doing it. I'm sorry. That was horrendous.
Things as well. We're following this player. Well, I follow Margot Robbie on Instagram. It's not going to do anything for me, is it?
No, don't cheat. Don't because Sav will be fuming if you start.
Yes, he will.
He'll be cheating on Margot Robbie over him. Unbelievable, Jeff. Unbelievable. Other ones that have been talked, I've just seen that was posted about 40 odd minutes ago from Fabrizio Romano. Well, it was on Tottenham Tiers, but they've pulled it from Romano, saying that Tottenham have asked to be informed about the situation of Xavi Simons.
Wow.
Now that's a player.
Never happening.
It's never happening because I also listened and I also read that PSG have a buyback of 6 million euros on him, but only can be activated in July. So PSV, So PSV in themselves would, if they can, want to sell him before the end of next week. I read it, and Romano was one that actually said it, and I take a lot of what he says right. And let me just read it out. PSG's buyback clause of Xavi Simons is only for 6 million euros. It can be activated in July from the 1st to the 31st. The final decision is only up to the player. He's waiting to hear from PSG, Man United, Arsenal, Brighton, Spurs, Borussia Dortmund, and RB Leipzig are all informed. So there's some big names in that talk in there.
Yeah.
You talk about, let's be honest, if you're a young player, there's only realistically one or two teams in that list you'd go to, and that would be Borussia Dortmund. Let's be honest. They do everything for young kids, young lads, and turn them into great players. So I have no hope that we are going to sign Xavi Simons, if I'm honest. I think, yes, of course, we'd want to be interested in him. What a player. But it would make a lot of sense for big up Wayne Holland, mate, by the way. Big up to you, mate. It would make a lot of sense for PSV to try and get rid of him now. Because if there's a clause for Simons to go to PSG for 6 mil in July, it makes much bigger sense than to try their best to offload him and get some sort of money for him now. Because he's a 30-40 million pound player. Yeah. So big up, Ellie. Hope you're well. Welcome on.
Yeah, hello.
How are you?
Hi, lads. I'm fine, thanks. Looking forward to your show again.
Always a pleasure. Always a pleasure. Yeah, we were just talking. I'd like to get your thoughts. We were just talking about Romano's has come out and said that Spurs I want to be informed about the situation of Xavi Simons.
Okay.
A young lad that I think is is going to be a real top player in the future. The only big caveat with the conversation is that PSG have a €6 million clause, buyback clause that can only be activated in July. So there are talks that PSV might be trying to get rid of him before then.
Does that have to be both player and club side, or can they just buy him and the player has
no. It will be PSG have a €6 million clause that obviously the player has to agree to the deal.
Yeah,
but they have an automatic clause that can't be negotiated by PSV. So they can say, well, we're going to put €6 million and we want him back. I mean, the fact that they put that in their thing is mad in itself in the deal. But Elliot, I'd like to know your thoughts. Would you take someone like a Xavi Simons? I think most people said he would, but what about you?
Yeah, he's a very talented young prospect.
Yeah.
The thought of him going in July, if they want to buy him back, is a bit of a bummer, I must say, because if he's playing fantastic for us, and then they want him back.
No. That clause is only between PSV and PSV at the moment.
PSV
and PSV. Spurs won't put a clause like that into any other club because it's a buyback clause. So PSV got a good deal on him on the pretense that if he becomes really good, PSG can buy him back. So we've had that with players all the time. We had that with the lad that we let, the Irish lad that we
Marcus Edwards as well, and players like
Marcus Edwards. We had something very similar. We had an actual clause that was in a sell-on clause, which was slightly different. So we got 50% of whatever the sale was on him. But so that's a slight difference. But I think for us at the moment, we need to go and look in this. I think we're talking about a player that probably won't be here. Let's be frank and honest. If we think about it realistically, the names that are being touted there are massive. And obviously, Ellie, obviously the talks at the moment that Tapsoba from Bayer Leverkusen is being talked about at the moment as the defender that we're trying to get in. What are your thoughts on that as well?
Yeah, I like him. When you see a player's name, you don't really know a lot about him.
Yeah.
You start watching him, but the thing is, you've got to watch him as live. I think YouTube can sometimes, show the best bits of a player, and then you don't see the worst bits of a player.
Of course, you have to take a lot of it with a pinch of salt. Of course.
Yeah, and even the stats don't tell you everything about a player. Yeah, so if Ange wants him though, I'm like Mia, if Ange wants him, right, I think we should go for him because if he feels that he can fit into his system and move the ball quickly from defence into midfield and join and push up, he'll be a great asset to our team.
Yep. No. I think he'd be a good asset. For me though, it's about getting things like this done. I've said it all along. I said it earlier on in the stream. It's all well and good being linked with these players. It's great news. We're linked with them. but links mean nothing. We can be linked, as I said earlier, to Cristiano Ronaldo, Lionel Messi. Doesn't mean they're going to sign for us. So, and these players will be looking at it. There's some other ones that sort of other things that sort of not Tottenham based. So we just sort of a little go over. Chelsea selling to basically rivals all round the park, and they're obviously selling to Saudi Arabia a lot. Is this a panic from Chelsea, knowing they've got to balance the books? Guys might know a little bit more than I necessarily will, but the likes of Kovacic going to Manchester City, that looks like it's going to happen in a couple of days. Kai Havertz to Arsenal in a couple of days. A load of their lads all heading to Saudi Arabia. Koulibaly's the next one that's had that agreed. We know that Kante has already happened yesterday. Yeah. You've got Ziyech that looks like that's a here we go from. This seems crazy the way Chelsea's done business. I'd love to get your thoughts on it, Ash. I'll let you go first, mate. And what do you think is going on? Is this just a genuine balancing of the books? And
I personally think it's something that's been agreed a long time ago by the looks of it. It looks like, sorry to be conspiratorial, but it looks like that was the plan all along. Because it's no other club that they're selling to, and even that when it comes to Man City, they've got Saudi links. They're part of the Saudi.
They're Abu Dhabi.
Abu Dhabi, but they've got.
I mean, I don't think you want to compare them. I think they would not be very happy. I don't think they're very fans of that. Don't cost that.
No, but there's. All right, cool. Right, forget Man City, but I know there's a percentage share. Well, definitely, there's a percentage share in Saudi that own a bit of Chelsea.
They don't. It's not they own Chelsea. They own the company that owns Chelsea. So they've got.
What I'm saying.
They don't own all of it though. No, that's bits of it. They don't own all of it.
Yeah. They're part owners of Clear Lake. They've got shares in Clear Lake.
So basically, just for like layman's terms, they're involved in Chelsea, basically. So it just looks like it's been a part of the plan all along. Do you know what I mean?
But is that the case though? Because Koulibaly was signed by Bowley.
Yeah, he was signed by Bowley, but at the same time, they need to get rid of X amount of players, and it just seems like all of them are going to Saudi Arabia, like all of the players. And call it a coincidence? I don't know. Maybe. But it just seems like these clubs have got a way of doing business now where they're able to kind of sell to each other and get this business done. And we're not able to sell one player. Do you know what I mean? And Chelsea.
I mean, that's the thing, though. I do just find at the moment that it's just an absolute mad at the moment amount of players going over. Like every day you wake up and you see another one's and it's not just a link. It's you wake up and it's a player going there. Like he's on the plane on the way there. A deal's already been agreed. They're just agreeing a fee. It is a bit strange. It's mad. I mean, there's obviously now links at Cucurella to Newcastle, which obviously will continue to spark the conspiracy because obviously Newcastle are owned by PIF. Is this the sort of thing? And yet they keep finding loopholes, and they're finding all these loopholes. Obviously, he found the one about the long-term contracts. Now he's found this one about offloading these players to Saudi Arabia. I mean, but we're not just seeing that. We're seeing the likes of Ruben Neves go to Saudi Arabia. This is a lad that's been linked with Barcelona, by the way. And remember we had all these conversations with. Who remembers the lad that was meant to be going to Liverpool? Alex Teixeira? Does anyone remember the name? The Brazilian lad. He was linked with Chelsea. It was linked with Liverpool, and it was about to get done until one of the Chinese clubs went and bought him and put him on 500 grand a week. And he was at the age of, I think he was only 24, 25. Do people here, I'd love to get your thoughts. Do people here think that we're going to start seeing more primed players, and I say prime players in the sense of players that are in their sort of mid-20s taking the money?
Yeah, the law of the lira is winning, isn't it? It seems, right? And it's like we'll scratch your back, I'll scratch your back sort of scenario with the big money billionaires that are linked in some way or another.
Yep.
You see, so I think it's a bit of a cop out by some of those younger players, especially because I think they're selling their souls for just the lira.
Okay, I'm going to flip it for a second. I'm going to play devil's advocate on that part because we're not talking about a big amount of money. We're talking about life-changing money over 2 years. Let's use, for example, I think I mentioned on here a few days ago, but let's use Ruben Neves as an example because everyone's going, I could have gone to Barcelona, I could have gone there, here and there, everywhere, go and play in the best leagues. I read, and I said completely, this is just what I read. He's getting paid 10 times what he was being paid at Wolves. We're not talking about a bit of more money. We're talking about life-changing money. And let's be frank and honest, I think we'll be all crazy if that was offered to us. I think most of us would have all accepted it. I'll be the first to hold my hands up. If someone offered me 10 times more money on the job that I do to go and move somewhere else and do it, yes, it's crazy money. This is money that can not just look after you, it will look after your kids' kids, and maybe even further generations. So I do get where people's perspective is because I get all this sort of narrative of you're selling your soul, but this is big money, no?
I'd be interested to see.
Sorry.
Go on.
Go on, Ash.
I agree with that. But then you've got to look on the flip side of it, right? So basically, they're taking this money for maybe 2 years and then coming back. So they're rich enough, Perchy. These footballers are multi-millionaires already. The top ones, and even the ones that play in the Championship, they get paid a hefty amount of money. They get paid per week what most people earn in a year. Yeah, so it's not all right. It is life-changing money in one respect that it's going to take them to another level into the stratosphere, but still, they are rich men. They don't need it. Me as an ex-footballer. If I was offered 10 times more money than I was at Spurs when I was playing for Spurs ladies, I wouldn't take it.
Really?
Yeah, because
Really?
honestly, I wouldn't because I love my club.
Yeah,
so
no.
much.
I get all that. I completely get all that. But I'm not here asking what you were being paid when you're at Tottenham stuff. That's not what our conversation was. But we're talking about 10 times here.
I
10
know.
times. Let's be frank and honest. I mean, what average salary is? What 18, 19, 20? Or it's probably a bit more than that. Sorry. Let's just say an average is 25 grand a year. Let's just say average here and say. If you were being paid 10 times that, so you would turn down 250 grand a year. I'm using that as an average salary, by the way. I'm not asking about what you got paid. That's not what I'm saying. But you turn down 250 grand a year to do the same job.
Yeah.
I love Tottenham through and through, and I'll be honest, I'll hold my hands up. I'm taking the money. I'm moving the money.
Everybody's different.
Of course,
I respect your opinion as well, Perchy. Honestly,
I look at it and go.
If you went, I wouldn't look down on you. Just put it that way.
No, of course. And I'm not saying what's right or wrong. I look at that and I say that sort of money can change my family's life. Do you know what I mean? I mean, maybe if we're talking a bit more. I mean, if we're talking about what the likes of these big stars again. I mean, that's not just life-changing money. That's insane sort of money. But I get people's point about playing for the club and all that lot, and I get all that. But my point being is let's just be frank and honest. And Ellie, yours is slightly different. Ruben Neves isn't a Wolves fan. Do you know what I mean? Koulibaly's not a Chelsea fan. Ziyech is not a Chelsea fan. So your point is, I get your point. Your point is slightly different in the sense of it. But my argument was more that money is crazy. And Ben, I'd love to get your thoughts on it, mate, because it's going mad.
I'm not going to go in on Chelsea or the companies involved because they're not the ones at fault for the stupid rules that Premier League have. The fit and proper owners test has failed. If this is the case, it has failed because it doesn't take more than a Google search or a company's house or whatever to say 2 football clubs should not be owned by the same entity, whether that's 5% or 1% or 0.1%. It only takes a quick Google search to see who Clear Lake Capital's investors are. the same two owners should not own the same two different football. The same owner should not own stakes in two different football clubs. So it's not their fault that our rules in the Premier League are so bad. It's totally incompetent from the Premier League. They should say, no, you can't buy Chelsea. You can't. Because you've got
they don't. But the thing is I get your point.
They shouldn't have been allowed to buy them if that is the case. If they have got stakes in Chelsea, the PIF, which is another organisation, if they have got stakes in two football clubs, they shouldn't be able to buy them. Fact.
It's a minority share. That's the difference. They don't own them.
But they still own percentage of it. They should not be allowed to own parts of two different football clubs.
No, I get that. But
they shouldn't be allowed to do it. They shouldn't be allowed to do it because it's against competition.
Yeah, but then you could turn flip that completely on its head. We saw a few years back Red Bull Salzburg play RB Leipzig in the Champions League.
You shouldn't be able to own two different football clubs.
Agreed.
We're in the same competition. You shouldn't be able to.
But then it's exactly everything that we're talking about when we talk about
it's not
multi-club ownership.
Again, it's not at PIF and Chelsea and the companies involved. No organisation should be able to own more than one football club. Fact. Anywhere. Whether it's two clubs in Manchester City should not be able to own a club in Australia, which is what they do. They shouldn't be able to own a football club in Australia. If you own a football club, you should only be able to own one football club. If you're allowing that, what you're doing is perfectly fine. It's perfectly fine. They are allowed to do it because the rules are terrible. So
they were first to start all of it, weren't they? Let's be honest.
We cannot comment because we have done the same thing. We have owned, not we, because I don't own Sensitive and Enoch. Enoch have owned a club in Greece, a club in, I think they wanted to buy Standard Liège as well.
No, we did. We own.
They should not be able to own more than one football club. You own one football club and that's it. That's the way it should be.
Yeah. So you got one.
No, I do get all that. I do. I just want to say big up, Mr. Daigle. How are you doing, my friend?
I'm good, mate. The sun is shining. I'm happy you're doing a stream, mate, because my name's Brian. I'm a streamaholic. It's been
I was going to say you literally.
It's been about 14 hours since my last stream, and I'm going through withdrawals.
Agreed. And I also just want to say welcome, Steve, the man with every single single football shirt in society. We got a Brazil one today. Nice, love that. I thought you were going to go and pick something completely random, like the
Deportivo La Coruña or whatever. Yeah.
No, I wanted something in the Bolivian third division. It's got to be your next shirt. You got to find. It's got to be done. Yeah, guys, I like to get your take on this because obviously this is happening.
Would you mind if I bring up Jason Phillips' comment at 12:34?
Yeah, 12.
Sporting competition is different to business competition. Let's say Woodford Green. If I own two coffee shops on the same street, that would be idiotic. That's the reason with my partnership with my shop the shop next door. It's not my shop. If I do a deal with him to sell him coffee, I cannot sell him coffee in a 1 mile radius. That is a usual rule.
Yeah.
You don't own two coffee shops on the same street. It's idiotic. Why would you compete with yourself?
Yeah. No, I get that.
Right.
Why would you do it? You're costing yourself money. So
no, of course,
it's a completely different argument.
No, I do get a lot of what you're saying, Ben. I'd like to get Steve and Brian. I'd like to get your thoughts on the whole thing because it's obviously blowing up. We're going to start seeing more and more players go. Like, listen, it's as I said earlier, it's like every day we wake up and there's someone new that's being linked in it. And when we say linked, they're on their way there already. Like they're on the plane and they've already agreed a 300 billion deal that lasts over 2 years and it's balmy at the moment. So Steve, I'd love to get your thoughts on it, mate.
I mean, first of all, Chelsea ain't doing nothing wrong. If it was happening with any other club, it would not be a problem at all. I looked into it. The PIF does not own more than 5% business stake in Clear Lake Capital. Not more than 5%. PIF, exactly, Andrew, who is a Chelsea fan. They do not own anything to do with Chelsea. They don't make decisions for Chelsea. they're making a decision to buy Edouard Mendy and Koulibaly for market value. They're
And
not
Ziyech.
paying.
And
even
Ziyech and Kante.
Yes, and Ziyech.
And
No. Conte was free. Conte was free.
Oh,
Conte
you're right. Kante
club on the earth.
Yeah, you're right.
N'Golo Conte could have gone to any club on the earth. He is a free agent, and they decided to pick him up.
No, that's fair. That's fair.
If Conte signed a 5-year deal and then a Saudi club bought him, I could see why people get conspiracy, whatever. But no, they're not doing anything wrong. They're trying to make their league better. They're putting a hell of a lot of money into it. Chelsea are just better at offloading their deadwood or their squad players better than other clubs, and they've shown to do that over the years. How much did they get from Mark Gehi, who didn't play a Premier League minute out of Palace? What, 25, 30 million? Tomori? They got good money for it. They have a reputation of doing this because they're good sellers. And you guys, as dealing with Levy is shit at selling. Awful. You could have gotten how much money for Eric Dyer? You could have gotten how much money for Christian Eriksen? Harry Kane could walk out the door on a free? That's the thing. For me, it's either jealousy or I don't know.
Steve, you think you took the words out. I think at the moment, people that are angry are just jealous that they're not buying their dross. I'll be honest. That's where I am. I'm sitting there going, why haven't they signed Davinson Sanchez? Why haven't they signed Bryce Esteban? Why haven't they signed?
Because no one wants to see them in a top league.
Yeah,
people want to see Hakim Ziyech though. Yeah, it's a Moroccan international. He is also Muslim. He is popular in that area of the world. Same with Koulibaly, who's also a Muslim. So
some made a good point, and there is a lot of connections with a lot of these are lads that are Muslim.
N'Golo Conte is another practicing.
Kante is Koulibaly, from what I believe is.
Yeah.
I think Mendy is as well, and is so. I'm not suggesting that's it.
Benzema,
of course.
Yeah.
So they are recruiting. I mean, obviously, like Neves and Ronaldo they are recruiting a lot of like these. Some of them, Edouard Mendy isn't high profile per se, but he is a guy who's won a Champions League.
For that league, I think it's high profile.
Yeah, exactly. And he's a Senegalese international, etc. Bro, but you don't have those kind of players. Other clubs don't. They were,
Yeah.
Look, for me, Chelsea, they're good at selling, and they have to do what they have to do.
I think that's a fair shout. I think Chelsea in the league are one of the best sellers in the league. I think that's a fair one.
I totally agree with everything, Steve. The only thing that Chelsea have slightly done that's a bit naughty is hoarding talent and sending it out. But then it's a crap rule set up by the Premier League. They just need to make good rules that aren't easy to be broken. What
do you mean by hoarding crap talent, like a squad size or a salary cap?
Like young players. Like if I am, because I know a guy, his son plays for the Chelsea youth team. He plays for Chelsea. And they invest heavily in their youth.
They do.
Amazing.
I think
you see West Ham's, they've got one guy with a clipboard, but if you see the Chelsea youth talent, they've got 8 to 9 guys, all with iPads, all like nutrition guides, and they're doing it properly. They're getting all the best talent, and even if they don't make Premier League level, they can sell them. They can sell them for decent money. £500 here, £20 there.
Here's a question for you,
doing it smart. That's the only
here's a question for you.
It's slightly naughty, but
you say that. If Spurs did it, would you complain?
Shit rules. We need to hire people that makes concrete rules that cannot be bended or manipulated.
All rules will be tried to be bent, won't they? Because obviously everyone tries to gain an advantage.
How would you enforce that though, Ben? Like, what's the rule you want to see if you got to call the shots? Are you saying that your academy can't, like, because honestly their academies produce phenomenal players.
Yeah, they are. It's brilliant. Which is
brilliant, etc. Like, what do you mean by hoarding talent? How basically what I'm trying to.
But they've already changed the rules.
It's just get someone to make rules that cannot be broken. I am not.
No, they have though. But they have
made all the rules in my shop. Because I'm the only one I answer to.
Right.
But we just need to have good rules that don't get broken. We need to stop complaining. They're not cheating at all. They're not breaking any rules.
Ben, they have, in fairness, Ben, but they've changed the rules, Ben. They have changed the rules. So you can't go and hoard players from from outside of Europe, which is what Chelsea
Like
did.
the work permit thing. Like 15-year-olds can't play until they're 18.
You're not allowed to now.
The EU
You're now
or
not allowed to sign more than 6 non-English players under the ages of 18. You're not allowed to sign any more than 6 now. Maybe 19 now. I think that's the rule. Quote me on it, but I think that is the rule now that they've changed it. But that was to stop basically like the likes of Chelsea going around all around Europe and buying kids at 15, 16 and bringing them in.
To be fair, a lot of clubs actually do that. Atalanta send out I think 2 seasons ago I saw an Atalanta's loan. They loaned out 35 odd players
in Italy.
around Italy.
The loan system in Italy is very different to the loan
system. In Spain it's different, and in America,
I just wanted to, before I carry on, I just want to say, big up Bobby K. You're so right. There's now 100 of you in here, and there's only 33 likes. Smash the button. Let's get over 100 likes. And if you haven't, please subscribe. We're 110 subscribers away from the magic 1,000. So please, if we can get to 900 today, that would be absolutely brilliant if you could do that. So if you haven't and you're in here, please like and please subscribe. And obviously go and subscribe to these absolutely wonderful people on the screen as well. I think Mark is slowly whacking your link. It's all in the chat. So go over there, guys, share the love and go and subscribe to all these amazing people because, listen, we all work hard and we all try and give out content to you guys and it's all part of the fun.
By the way, the Dave Hamilton in the comments, he asked a question: is there not a conflict of interest as PIF for funding Chelsea owners and own Newcastle? No, there's no conflict of interest because if RB Leipzig bought a player off of us, is that Red Bull financing Newcastle?
That's not how it works,
and Red Bull owns that. For me, it's people. It's funny. We talk about loopholes. People are trying to find loopholes to slam Chelsea. They're trying to pick out little things and be like, oh, well, this is ooh. So, it's funny because the owners do. And you know what, at the end of the day, you know what it is? At the end of the day, it's human nature. We all look for loopholes.
Of course we do.
All of us.
That's how it works.
So
let's be honest. Brian, I'd love to get, thanks,
sorry,
Steve. I'd love to get your take on this, Brian, because, listen, for me, I'll be honest. I'm only annoyed because it's not us. I'll swear, I'll be honest. I'll say ahead. I don't care about rules, loopholes. I'm only annoyed that it's not us that our dross is getting bought.
You're benefiting from it.
Well, there's 3 components to look at this. First of all, Chelsea and what they did with their youth academy at the beginning, which, let's face it, was genius.
Of course,
everything you try to do in competition is trying to get an advantage on the opposition. That is the culprit. Like when you're playing a team and their problem is they have a weak right side. What do? You hammer the right side. Yeah. That's what you just keep. You don't go, oh, you're a little bit poorly there, so we're going to attack. The whole thing is to exploit any. So what Chelsea did in acquiring all these youth products while there weren't a law against it, genius from them.
Yeah,
genius, absolutely incredible because they found a way to manipulate the system. They're getting upper hand on people,
David.
And like you said, they're getting fees from players that don't even make a first competitive start and getting good money for them. So that's that part.
But Brian, the other one, just on that part, just to sort of, that Chelsea was so good at it that they were selling players for 30 million quid that never even started in the first.
Exactly.
It was incredible.
So you've got that part of it. When it comes to the business part, I'm not going to get into all the. I'm not. People know I'm not. I don't talk against the finances, the this, that's not what I talk about. But what I will say, and I've said this before on streams. I remember when I first started playing Championship Manager. Always started as Tottenham, but I used to create a fake account, a fake manager as Manchester United, and sell all my shit to them for like 15 million, get all their money, and then quit. And then have all Man U's money, have all my Deadwood gone, and then go buy my team. It was like the cheat code. So that's what it likens me to. But what's really concerning me now with the Saudi Arabian League is people like Benzema go in and Kante, they're at the end of their careers. They're listen, it's their final payday. They can't deal, like when Dembele went to China because he could not deal with the strains and the of the Premier League or Europe's elite, but he could go somewhere. And all right, they're very, very, very rich men to begin with. They go there for a season or two. You don't forget, Toby's just been there. Toby's been there before this blew up. Toby Alderweireld was there.
Yep.
He's
No,
gone,
he went to Qatar, didn't he? He went to Qatar.
Yeah, he moved for one. He moved for one big pay. Listen,
big payday, and then came back again.
If I was about to retire as a 65, 70-year-old man, but someone said to me, listen, come over here and work a year for me, I'll give you 30 million whatever currency.
Boom.
Okay, I'm postponing my retirement for a year. Bang, see you later, bye. The one that has concerned me is Neves. The fact that someone with Neves, who is coming into his prime, could easily compete in the Premier League still at one of the top clubs, could easily get into a European top 14 in Spain, Germany, any of them. The fact he's gone there may open the floodgates for more, because the way you start getting your competition to become better is by getting very good players there. They've gone and got the flagship players like Benzema, Ronaldo. That entices people. And now the more and more, the Neves one has really, all the others, like Steve said as well, they're at the end of their career. It's like you've got one final chance to make a huge payday, live incredibly comfortably like they would do anyway, and then go back either to their home country or wherever they want to go. And not only are their kids sorted for life, their kids' are sorted for life, their kids' are sorted. And that's, you know what? I think any man or woman, if they had an opportunity to sort further generations down, are going to do it. But the Ruben Neves one is one for concern. I think it may open the floodgates for more.
But could the Ruben Neves, and that's what I mentioned earlier, and that's why me and Ellie were sort of talking about this earlier, and just to get your thoughts on it. But when we're talking about Neves going, as I said, it's 10 times the salary that he'll be getting at Wolves. 10 times. This is not just more money. That is extortionately. As I said, Brian, let's be frank and honest. If someone said to you tomorrow, oh, by the way, I want you to go and move to insert country, but you're going to get paid 10 times whatever you're going to get paid, you've already packed your bags. Let's be honest. Do you know what I mean? Because you're going, I can look after the rest of my family and my family's family for years.
I'll give you the prime example, and it goes with what I always say with how much loyalty means to me. When I was working at Booking.com before it closed for COVID, I had single-handedly the greatest manager I've ever worked with. And I used to say to her, the Hitman line, that she's the best there is, the best there was, and the best there ever will be. If she phoned me up right now and said, Brian, guess what? I've got a job for you, but it's in Uzbekistan, I would speak to my wife and say, hey, do you know what? We're moving to Uzbekistan. I'm not too sure what the reaction would be, but I would move heaven and earth for that woman. So you're completely right. This is what it comes down to. This is what it comes down to. It's a big concern. But you look at it, FIFA can't get involved. Mm-hmm. UEFA can't get involved. Can the FA do something? Yeah, they can kind of make a little. They can say Chelsea, wink, wink, nudge, nudge. We're looking at you. Be careful what you're doing. Can't really proceed it any further. In Saudi Arabia, they won't bat an eyelid because they're bringing incredible talent to their country and making their league. Look at it. Look at the advertising. I think every single stream, every single news station, every single media station is honing in on this league. They're getting the exposure. They're loving this.
Perchy and Brian, quick question.
Yes, that's massive, brother.
Quick question.
Good to see you, brother.
Good to see you as well, my bros, and ladies as well. Going back to what Ellie was saying, and also Perch was saying about loyalty, I don't know how much was offered, but obviously there was a bid in for Son Heung-min, and we had an opportunity there to possibly cash in on a player, and we're speaking about finding it hard to sell players and not taking advantage of selling at the best price point, but at the same time, I can caveat and say Son obviously turned down the deal, saying, he's got a lot to do in the Premier League. He's got a lot to do with Spurs, and he's got his morals. He's got his loyalty. So we can see that there are players that, money isn't everything. Yeah. And so he's like, I don't know if he's the exception to the rule or if he's like what most players are doing. If Neves is the exception to the rule, where I remember Hulk was linked to Spurs at one point, and AVB wanted to bring in Hulk. and he decided that he wanted to go to the Chinese league instead. And he was at his prime. He could have gone to any other club. I'm not saying just Tottenham, but he could have gone to any other club, and he decided to cash in his prime. So I'm just wondering if Neves is the example, or is it going to be a thing to scientific thing to come?
Asma, you know what I'll say on that, Asma? I think with Heung-min Son, the rumor was 50 mil, maybe 60. That doesn't even bring Daniel Levy and Tottenham to the table. That doesn't. If we were talking, they wanted to do it, and they made an official bid for £100 million. I'm just using that number because that's what me and Ben were saying yesterday. To even entertain it because of his commercial money that it brings in. If it was £100 million, I'm sure Tottenham Hotspur, whoever or any club, if a player gets offered 50, 60 million for one of your prize assets, you might be like, do me a favour. They come and say 100. Now Tottenham could go, oh wait a minute, that's 100 mil, and then we'll see. But listen, I don't think, from what I heard about this as well, they were bracing themselves for next season. I think they're coming back to the table next season. I think this was right. We're interested in you. Let's get the conversation going. 1 year down your contract, and you've got to remember he'll be what, 30, 31 then.
They'll be 32. Some will be 32 next season.
You got to remember Heung-min Son is still currently earning less than Tanguy Ndombele.
Yeah, I know. It's harmony, isn't it?
So if they come and say you're on 190,
Sonny is a different situation because I think Sonny is very loyal to Tottenham because of how loyal Tottenham. Because it was very possible that Sonny could have done military service and that would have put his contract on hold. So the fact that Tottenham gave a lot of stock behind him, gave him a really long-term contract before he even got the full enlistment and the whole military exemption.
Needed to win South Korea.
Yeah. It wouldn't surprise me if Sonny signed another contract this year. It wouldn't surprise me if he signed another 4-year deal when he stayed for Tottenham until the rest of his career. It wouldn't surprise me. I think Sonny is very loyal to Tottenham. I would make Son captain. I've said this on that free.
You're on a crusade with this, Ben. You're on a crusade.
I'm on a crusade because I care about players that are loyal to Tottenham, and I love Harry Kane, but he's not committing to Tottenham. He's sending his agent here, there, and everywhere. At the first point of opportunity where an official bid was lodged, or apparently a bid was lodged, he's immediately slapped it down and said, "I want to play for Tottenham." Yeah. I want loyalty. I want the football league of my football club to be loyal to my football club. So make Son captain.
I think there's a slight difference, but I do agree with the sort of sentiment to a certain. I just want to pick up this question. Big up audio artisan, mate. I hope you're well. Do you guys think the rise of the Saudi Pro League will have an effect on illegal match streams, as most sports streaming apps come from Asia and the Middle East? Possibly. I mean, obviously, with the whole situation that was happening in Saudi Arabia, because Steve, you'll probably know more being a Newcastle fan. Wasn't that part of the problem that they were illegally streaming because there was no streaming service into Saudi Arabia? Yeah, and they were getting
it from Qatar being sports.
Yeah,
there was some issue there, but that got cleared up, and then as soon as that did, then Newcastle took over. Took over Newcastle. So yeah.
And also, just to sort of change the subject. I was going to say change the subject slightly differently. Someone put in something earlier. We're only going to go for about 6 or 7 minutes left because otherwise we will be way over in the designated hour to us all talking stuff. And so just move on to Thomas Hodgson. Romano tweeted earlier that Szoboszlai has a £60 million release clause. Would you take him over Maddison if it was available?
Yes.
Good player, isn't he? I like him.
Depends on if I was Newcastle, yes. If I was Tottenham, no.
It would be a lovely player.
Tottenham need homegrown players. Tottenham, we haven't got a lot of homegrown talent, so I would take Maddison. That is why. If I'm Newcastle, I would say get
Szoboszlai.
Yeah, Szoboszlai. I'm terrible at this sort of thing. It depends on the club. We need homegrown talent because our homegrown talent aren't actually homegrown talent. Davis, Dyer, etc. That's 2 of them. We need homegrown players at Tottenham. That's why we're linked with the likes of Harvey Barnes and Maddisons and David Ryers and a lot of homegrown talent. That's what Tottenham needs at the moment.
Yeah. Just want to pick this off from Jason. Sorry, 1 second. Lads, let's face it, footballers aren't skinned. No, that's not, I think, what we're talking about here. The point is when we were saying about, we're talking about football players, yes, where they're not skinned. But if they go and take as I said, the Ruben Neves one as an example, which is 10 times his wages.
Generational wealth.
He can generationally provide for his family way past his like when he passes. So I think we're talking about money there where you can knock money down to his children's children will be able to be,
or the community that they come from. Or the community they come from for charity work and whatnot. Sadio Mane is like huge in Senegal in terms of the charity work and investing in the area. I wouldn't be surprised if Mane goes to Saudi Arabia for that reason, because he is throughout his whole career, even when he was at like RB Salzburg before he moved to Southampton. Huge.
I'm just going to answer your question and go, because my niece is going to be here any moment, and I've got time to take her to the park. And as much as I love everyone here and love talking about Tottenham, nothing beats time with my niece. I have to say, with that swap deal, and I'm not even going to try and pronounce his name because I'll butcher it, you can tell by the reaction there. This is a stream with predominantly 5 Tottenham fans over 1 Newcastle fan. The Newcastle fan immediately, yes, because he knows Newcastle will do the 50 or the 60. All the Spurs fans are like, this is
not going to happen, is it?
Yeah, we can monitor the situation for 50 and 60 mil, or we can ask to be kept informed, or we can be asked that we started concrete talks, or we're monitoring the situation, or we verbally agreed to have a conversation. So listen, I don't care. We just need players. And we've got to get it quick. But I'm going to let you guys go now and wrap up the stream. Perchy, always a pleasure. Kaufman, always a pleasure. Ellie, love you, darling. Ashmatic, my brother. Hope you're all well. Steve, I'll be on your stream later on. Let me know and send me the link. Perchy, love you. Love everyone in the chat.
I think I'm joining you later as well.
Good. Well, have a great evening, everyone. And as always, Levy out.
Massive shout out. What can I say? What a man Brian Daigle is. What a man. Guys, we're going to go for about 3 more minutes. I was just going to say 9 more subscribers away from 900. This is the last chapter of the road to 1K. We're going to be on the last chapter of it. Can we get there today, please? That'd be amazing. If 9 of you in here that haven't subscribed, please do so. We're also at 51 likes. Can we get that over 75? 25 of you. There's 115 of you in here. Come on. Hit the like button. It's free. Do so. It means the world. It helps me out massively. And obviously, go and subscribe to these wonderful people, and go and subscribe to Brian as well on Tottenham and Tour. Yeah. Do so. Means the world, please. We're nearly there. Come on. The road to 1K is on. Let's finalise it up with an Arsenal player. Boo. Well, maybe not an Arsenal player just yet. Kai Havertz. Romano has tweeted whilst we've been on stream that they were in the final agreements for Kai Havertz to be another one of Chelsea's flops leaving for £65 million. Now, guys, is that crazy, or do you think this is good business from Arsenal? I'd love to know.
It's incredible business from Chelsea. Absolutely incredible business. Again, I talked about a few minutes ago with Chelsea. They are such a good selling club.
They are.
Yeah. If anyone watches Havertz, not just with Chelsea but with Germany, they literally are less. They have the attack of a toothpick. They have nothing with Havertz up front. He's sloppy. His touches are heavy. He gets knocked off the ball, but he's big. Like, the guy doesn't know what position he plays. If you throw him up front, bro, it's like throwing. It's not
Steve. Steve, is that a big problem? Because I this is my thoughts on it. I get worried when you hear about the term versatility. I get really worried about it because when the word versatility comes down, that tells me that that's a player that doesn't know what position he plays in.
Yeah,
exactly. And Kai Havertz for me is the embodiment of that. He's a player that can play 4 or 5 positions. But I can't be honest.
He plays all of them pretty poorly outside of it.
He's a jack of all trades, master of none.
He's even a jack of all trades. You know why he's versatile? Because whatever manager at Chelsea, they're trying to figure out what position the guy can play. Because they spend a crap load of money on him.
You know that Champions League goal? That Champions League goal, it was like his Lucas Moura moment. Yeah. And it sort of put a top in on his transfer fee for Chelsea, and they've milked it. They've actually milked it. They are brilliant. Chelsea, your money in.
They got good money for, but yeah, I just could say Romano has just tweeted just now as we were speaking just then about it. Kai Havertz has been crucial in talks and only wants to join Arsenal. No plans to go back to the Bundesliga. He gave the green light to Arsenal 10 days ago. He's right after the project was presented to him. Arteta convinced that Havertz has a huge potential and can perform at the top level of
talent ideas stank.
Perch, you're on the clock, mate.
Oh, look, see, he tipped me on the clock. That was my last point. Good one, I like that. Guys, that was the one I was going to finalise on because it just literally happened just at this moment. So thank you, Ben. I love you. You're the stopwatch in the stream. We love it. Guys, seriously, though, thank you.
My watch is running out of charge.
Thank you guys, genuinely, for coming on. What did we get to at the end? We got to 893, 7 away from 900. Again, massive thank you guys for coming on. It's genuinely always welcome. Same again tomorrow, of course, same time, same place. Massive shout out to every single one of you in the chat. There's still 105 of you in there, and we're at only 52 likes. Why have you gone all Daniel Levy on the likes, you lot? It's 57 now. Come on.
Smash the like button. Come on.
Smash the like button. Let's get it up. Massive shout out to all you guys in the chat. We'll be back again here tomorrow. Much love. And on that note, anyone want last words?
Havertz
at 3:30 with myself, Perchy, and Kuva.
Go over there. Put the link in there. Put the link in there, Ben. Get people over there later on. At what time did you say? 3:30.
3:30.
Talking bollocks at 3:30. I'll be there. I expect you guys in the chat to be there as well.
I'll be
guys, and on that note, I'll leave you to it. Thank you guys for coming on again.